Hi, I'm Julia Alexander, and this is Be Informed. You know it's election season. I happen to be here with one of the candidates, candidate for District 4 in Joliet, Illinois. His name is Cesar Cardenas. Am I correct about that,
That's
Cesar?
correct.
And we're going to speak with Cesar, and we're going to find out his platform and what he plans to do for the city of Joliet as well as District 4. Hi, Cesar. How are you?
Hi, Julia. Thanks for having me on your show. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for doing the interview with me today. And let's get straight to it, Cesar. Tell my viewing audience who you are, first of all. Are you married? Do you live here? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, so my name is Cesar Cardenas. I'm a Joliet, born and raised here in Joliet, Illinois. Married for 15 years to my wife, Rosie Cardenas. Okay. Just been in the community my entire life and always passionate about doing stuff on the east side of Joliet and I have my business here in Joliet. Okay. I own a marketing agency and just excited to get to meet more people.
Absolutely, a marketing agency, and it's right down here on Ottawa Street in Joliet, Illinois. As a matter of fact, we are in Cesar's studio recording this. So Cesar, you are running for District 4 councilman. Okay, tell my viewing audience, why did you decide to run for councilman?
I decided to run when I found out that Ms. Betty Gavin wasn't going to be running again, so it was going to be an open seat. And I felt that, I've been on a few different boards. I've been on I'm on the Silver Cross Healthy Community Commission, the Will County Center for Economic Development Association, Latino Economic Development Association, LEDA. And I've learned that me being on these boards has actually made a difference, right? By participating on these boards, I've been able to actually help through the Silver Cross Healthy Community Commission, distribute funds to local social services, scholarships. So I felt right now with our city council that opportunity to say, hey, maybe I can, get in there as well and put some of my knowledge and my experience to work with the city council to try to help to help our city flourish a little bit more.
Okay, perfect. So listen, what is your passion for District 4? What do you want to happen? What do you want to do?
For me, I think my passion is small business development. I think the small businesses are our backbone of the economy, right? And one of my priorities I feel I want to create is for tourism development, right?
Wow.
Put together a committee for tourism development. And what does that mean?
Yes.
I've been fortunate to be able to travel with my wife. We've gone to different cities. And I always see these flourishing downtown areas,
yes.
And they're packed with people. And it's not necessarily always, the local residents are in these downtowns. It's tourism. It's people that are visiting. Yes. But what does that do? That creates more small business growth, more jobs for these for people to work at locally, yes. And it makes for a booming economy. And I think when that happens, you create more tax revenue for the city, which then relieves some of the expenses on the local residents, right? Because now we've found other ways to generate revenue for the city. Absolutely. And then we're not taxing our current residents to asking for more to get our services that we need.
And then opening our city up to bring more people to enjoy what we have.
Absolutely.
In our city.
I think City of Joliet has a lot to offer. I mean, we have, we're telling the start of Route 66.
Yes.
We have a beautiful Rialto Square Theater. People, even though they have mixed views with the prison, it's still something people want to travel to view. I hear people from different countries that come and visit us. We need those people when they visit us to also frequent our local restaurants and business and small businesses. I think on the east side of Joliet and even over the bridge, you got the Bishop Hill Winery, beautiful castle, and not enough people know about it. I think we need to do more to market that, right? I think our communications part, I feel for me, like I said, I own a marketing company, is to make sure that we're communicating this to the people of what great things the city of Joliet has, and not always just so much negative, because I feel like it's always just negative in Joliet, and we need, more positive.
No, more positive, absolutely. Well, Cesar, you're District 4. What's your boundaries on District 4? Because it has expanded.
Yes, it has.
In the last few years.
So what I learned is that it is actually, Route 6 all the way to Gauger, Gauger Road, and even just a little bit past Gauger, people that have New Lenox addresses actually, pay a Joliet utility bill.
Oh, really?
Our Joliet. So you may have a New Lenox address, but can vote for Joliet City Council Council District 4 and for
Really?
mayor.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think you may need to look into the camera and say that again because that's
So if you,
knowledge.
yeah, if you have a New Lenox address and you pay a Joliet water bill, you could vote for City Council District 4, which we would represent you, because if you're using the Joliet utilities, Joliet Police Department would be the one that would service that area, and but it would be a New Lenox address.
Okay.
And it goes down basically, everything from like the Forest Park down to the east side of Joliet, over the Ruby Street Bridge, over to Theodore, Theodore all the way up to Rayner Street. Rayner crosses back down to Western, and Western back this way. So it's a pretty big.
You're actually mingling in and out of 5 as well,
A
right?
little bit, yes, correct. That's correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah,
Okay, well, Caesar, when you're on that council and you have to make a vote, you don't just make a vote for District 4. You have to make a vote for all the districts.
Correct.
Tell me, a little bit about how you would go by that. How would you determine, what's best for the city?
Yeah. Well, I think, like I said, my goal for with my objective of being of creating more tourism development.
Yes.
I think that's a benefit to the entire city,
Okay,
right? Because
okay.
when we generate right now, Collins Street corridor in itself, with all the small businesses that are on there, generate, it's a big tax revenue for the city of Joliet. And that, again, it benefits all the entire city, because then it takes some of the strain off of the local residents for any kind of tax raises.
Yes.
Nobody wants to raise taxes, right? We
Right.
want to make sure our taxes stay
Right.
low. We can afford to still live in the city. And people think, well, when you start to add more to the city, then, it's going to be you're going to price people out of the city.
Yeah.
But if we focus on our small businesses and we get that development happening with them, and then we have that tourism and it
Yeah.
creates revenue,
Yeah.
there's no need to tax our citizens and our
Absolutely.
residents for that, because we will be making money.
Well, speaking of taxes, there's a lot of complaints out here about that water tax going, our water bills going
Yeah.
up. What say you about that, Caesar?
Well, I think we've talked, and I've talked to a few other people of ideas of how we can maybe put some kind of a tier system in place to where maybe the larger, the bigger warehouses and or the bigger businesses would pay more than someone, a retiree or someone in a smaller household that isn't using as much water. I don't think we should all be paying the same rate. If we could find a happy medium where everyone can have, where we can still make it affordable, but again, when we have these bigger warehouses using thousands and millions of gallons of water versus, I just shower maybe once a week. I don't want to have to pay the same, we shouldn't have to put that. So we got to find a way, work out a way that if we can make like a tiered system, I think that's something that I'd be for.
Okay, are you all for capping the cost of water, putting a cap on it? I mean, I hear some people talking about putting, some candidates are saying,
I'd have to look into it a little bit more. I'm not too versed on that yet, so I would definitely look into it.
Okay.
If that's something that can be beneficial, obviously to the residents, but still continue for us to maintain our water system and our people, absolutely. We'd have to definitely look into that.
Well, at this point, I have residents out there that I've been going around getting questions from. Hi, Kurt, and to pose to you guys. And one of the questions that he's asking is that what are you going to do about the street traffic? What would your vote be? What's your suggestion about the truck trafficking and all that?
Well, I definitely think that before, right now we know that, we have, I actually had an opportunity to check out like Center Point, and I learned that, the rail system comes directly into Center Point, right? So we are the largest intermodal, land intermodal in the U.S., right? I don't think people, when you see it in movies, you see the ports, in California, New York, where all the ships come in and they all that. We literally have that here in Joliet in our center. And it's not going away. But we need to figure out before we keep growing and expanding that to make sure that we get the proper infrastructure in place so that it can support it, right? We have to figure out a way to work and making sure that we're directing the truck traffic in the right direction. So I wouldn't say that we're not against creating more warehouses, but we have to do it in a responsible way and in a way that it grows responsibly, where it doesn't devastate our
So what you're
residents.
saying is keep it on a track of its own, get it out of our neighborhoods.
Correct. Absolutely.
And it can happen.
Absolutely, because as we're trying to grow tourism, right, we don't want some tourists driving or rocking around with a big semi blowing right past them.
Absolutely.
We need to keep them safe as well.
Absolutely.
But we know that there's a need. We have to take that to our advantage as a city to know that we are the largest intermodal in the United States, and a lot of commerce comes through us. So we just need to figure out how to do it responsibly.
Okay, and as well as that, some more citizens out there want to know how would you help bring a grocery store into the District 4, District 5 area?
Well, I know currently right now in the District 4 area, there is talks of, I believe El Güero bought the old certified warehouse on Jackson Street. So that's something that I've talked to them, and it's supposed to be opening up this year. There were some delays due to COVID and things like that. And then obviously I think when we, as a city, again, we portray a positive attitude and we portray a positive, area of what we're trying to do, and then more businesses will try to locate here, right? Again, when we got to create a demand for business, we have to, and we can do that again with between tourism and our current residents. When you create more jobs, people have more money to spend. Then then these businesses look to, well, I have to go there because there's people there that are looking to buy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we just have to make it attractable for people to want to be here, right?
Yes.
And I think our residents deserve that, and they want it, and they're ready for that. But we just all have to work together to accomplish it.
Okay, well, that's my next segue. Creating more jobs. We do have jobs. We have the warehouses that's bringing in jobs. However, the jobs cannot sustain a family.
Right.
So what's your vote, or what would you do to try to get?
I think, and I talked about this before with someone, my goal would be to try to negotiate with these bigger boxes that are trying to come into our city and work with us. So also locate some of their higher end office jobs, right? Like we have a good downtown. Like why wouldn't IKEA be able to say we're going to locate our administrative office here? Not their headquarters, but maybe just their HR department, or how can we work that into our negotiations with our big boxes that are trying to come in here and say, we love it that you're bringing warehouse jobs, thank you, but can we also get maybe a satellite office? Line Electric, that they got their office in Canada. They got this big 1 million square foot facility coming into Joliet that's coming into Joliet. Before they look to locate their United States office anywhere, hey, how about staying here in Joliet and bringing 200-300 jobs that are going to require people for HR, that's going to be for accounting, that they need that work. So I think that can produce. We have the University of St. Francis, we have Joliet Junior College, we have Lewis University. We have a lot of great students that are coming out of there. There's no need for them to have to leave Joliet because they can't find a good job here. So, the warehouse jobs are good. They do what they can for the people that can have those jobs. But I think we also need to find a way to bring some of these other more corporate style jobs as well for the people that want to.
For the growing city.
Correct.
For the growing city.
Correct.
And I think that's good. At this point in time, Cesar, I would love for you to look into the camera and tell the listening audience to vote for you. My viewing audience, tell them to vote for you.
Yeah, no, thank you guys for having me on the show, and I'm hoping that to consider your vote, to vote for Cesar Cardenas. I am, I started my small business here in Joliet. I'm born and raised here. I plan on living here my entire life. I've been here my entire life, and I ask when you go out to the ballot box that you vote for Cesar.
Okay, and Cesar, is this your first run? Have you ever ran before for office?
This is my first time running for office. Never ran for office before.
All right, okay, and you have a passion for it, I see.
I do. I have a passion for people. I have a passion for people and helping people. So
yeah, I see this tourism thing. That's really sticking with you, but I think it's an awesome thought.
Yeah.
I like that. So if anyone, a young person, because we always want to leave a trail for someone to come behind us.
Yes.
What would you say to the young people that would step into where you're stepping into right now?
I would say that just, always, in my opinion, it's like do what you love to do and you'll never have to work a day in your life. I learned that from, Steve Jobs, the creator of Apple, right? I've always been a techie guy.
Yes.
And I think that's something that when you do something with passion, it's not work. People, I've had the question of like, how does it feel to be in politics now?
Yes.
And for me, I'd say I don't feel any different because politics is very different, right? But I don't feel any different because I've always dealt with people. I've always worked with people. I've worked well with others, being on these boards and committees. I've always put myself in these uncomfortable situations because you need to. But when you're working with people, I mean, if that's what politics is called, then I guess I've been politicking a whole long time.
Right.
But so I don't feel like I'm doing anything different. I don't have to turn on, I think we've talked, I don't have to turn anything special on right now to say now that I'm a politician, now I have to act like I care. Because
Right.
it's natural what I've been doing and what I continue to do. So whether I'm in office or not, I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, and I'm gonna keep pushing for tourism, and I'm gonna keep pushing for better communication from our city and everything else. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Mr. Cesar Cadenas. He's running for City Council, District 4, Joliet, Illinois. Once again, I thank you, Cesar. Is there anything that we didn't discuss that you would love for my viewing audience to know?
No, just to know that I am, again, I'm born and raised here in Joliet my entire life. I've been on multiple boards. Again, Silver Cross Healthy Community Commission is one big one that I'm very proud of, working with many different pastors from the community. We've done many scholarships through the National Hookup for Black Women. We've done, through the Black Contractors. We've done through the Latino community, Hispanic Latino Coalition. And it's always been about trying to make sure that we're giving back for our residents, our local District 4 is making sure that we get our fair share. Okay. And I think it's time that District 4 and the entire city, but obviously I'm running for District 4, so that's where my focus is going to be at right now.
Absolutely, absolutely. So once again, tell them your platform. What do you want to do?
So I'm going to make sure, my goal is to make sure that we have our resources are allocated properly for the District 4 area residents. I want to build a tourism development to make sure that we can create more jobs and create more small business, and overall just be a voice for the people of District 4. Okay,
once again, and when is election?
Early voting is going on now. You can vote every day at the Will County Clerk's office from 8:30 to 4:30 every day. And pretty soon you'll be able to vote at the Spanish Community Center starting March 25th on the weekends, and at the Joliet Park District. And then Tuesday, April 4th is election day for those that still like to do it on the day of.
Okay, now could you repeat that in Spanish for me, please?
El voto sería now you got me on the Spanish. Pueden votar el 4 de abril, martes 4 de abril, va a ser para el día de votar. El 25 y 26 de marzo van a poder votar en el Centro Español y en el Joliet Park District.
Okay, and don't forget, if you, there's register, same day register. I am a deputy register. You can also register the same day and vote at Will County. So if you don't vote, don't complain, because you must vote if you want a change. You have to be the one to make the change. Once again, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
God bless you on your trail to becoming the next City Council for District 4 of the City of Joliet.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.